Rich, can you kind of take us through the communication, because a lot's been brought up on that shot to Cortland late that set up the field goal about, whether Vic said this, you said, can you take us through from your perspective?
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of become something, but the crazy part about it is what's gotten lost in all this is, man, I'm fired up for the players, how it all ended. Like, it was great communication, and the reason we won was the communication, and what was interpreted and all that is what it is. But it really didn't go down like that, and the players executed a play that we had practiced all week, that we talked about in 2 minutes. He gave us the green light to take the shot. We walked out on the field. We walked through it Saturday morning, that exact play against that exact look. And, the Cortland executed it perfectly. Drew did a great job. The line protected, gave him 2 hitches. And he gave him an opportunity to win the game. And McManus went out there and was clutch and kicked down the middle. Like, those are the cool things that are the outcomes of all that. What was said and all that, the communication was great. And the question was, do you want to kneel on it or do you want to take a shot? And he wanted to take a shot after the kickoff return. And that's what our plan was all along. There was no indecision or anything. And we were able to go out there and do it. It's Vic's credit for saying take the shot. That's his call, not mine. And we went out and did it. And I'm proud of it, and we can build on it. It's a good thing.
What could Drew build on from that first start?
He's a young quarterback that, he turned one over on a play that was he had gotten a look all week that he expected something to happen, and it's live and it's a little bit different, and he got baited. That's something that he's got to bank. But all in all, I think that it's just a comfort, the routine, the ease of which just playing the game comes from not doing anything for, 8 weeks. He was anxious early, to say the least, just pregame routine, all that. It's all foreign to him, and he settled in after the first series, and I thought he showed great poise.
In his last preseason game, he did not wear the plays on his wrist.
Mm-hmm.
What he did on Sunday, what was sort of the thinking there?
Part of this whole process is with all quarterbacks in the NFL, each guy's a little different. Their visualization, how they call plays, just how they function and what's best for them. It's our job as coaches to adapt to their skill set. For Drew, the way he's done things, like a lot of young quarterbacks in the NFL now that play in spread offenses that don't call plays their whole career, the way the game's evolved, you have to find workarounds that make them comfortable so they can visualize it the best way to help the team win. And that's just part of it. And we had a plan all along after preseason, how we would develop him, what we thought he would be best at, and how we could be the best offense with him. And part of that was the wristband.
Do you read the whole play to him from the headset or just a number?
So I don't want to get into all that, but the reality of it is I give him a heads up what's coming, a reminder if needed, and any way I can give him information, I always will, and then he reads it off of it. So he anticipates the call, and he can use the proper voice inflection and all that, and have a feel for what he's calling.
How limited was the playbook with him being a rookie and only having a few weeks of practice leading up to the game?
Yeah, he did, I wouldn't say it was the full menu, but we tried to always, just like Brandon, you're always going to gear it towards their strengths. And we tried to, do a little bit of spread offense type stuff where people were out and he could see the field and be comfortable doing concepts that he feels good about as we go through this process. And that's our job. And I thought he did a good job. And it's different concepts than maybe Joe would run, but there's enough there that it's a good, solid plan.
Rich, you talked about kind of having this plan for him as he went along, but then obviously you didn't get a chance to see him play in a game. So when you saw him actually play in one, I guess going into the second start, how is it adapted, I guess, and now that you saw that, you have that sample to see that going into week 2, how did it change or how did it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in the end, it's a different set of circumstances now, so he has to evolve with the different style of defense going on the road and different things that are asked of him. So it's a whole new set of challenges. It's more about second time through the routine of preparation, pregame warm-up, how you break the huddle, all those things. Those are the things that we're continuing to get better at and evolve at the finer points, and that's what he has to continue to improve on as a player in this league. And then, the Texans are going to present a whole different set of elements for him. So that alone is the variable.
What did you learn about, I guess, what did you take out of it and how you can prepare him this week as opposed to going into it without having a game?
Yeah, I honestly, really, it's what I've kind of learned at the end of the preseason as he sat in the room with him, the kind of person he is, how he thinks about things, how his mind works. And yeah, the operation of calling plays, how he wants me to say things to him, things like that. That's an evolution with every quarterback, and that was our first real time under fire. And so those are things we can will improve on, and things we've talked about. Communication when he comes to TC on the sidelines, what he saw, and he was really good at that in the game, and we want to continue to do that.
Coach, after the first quarter of games, how do you guys keep the offense rolling? Phil yesterday talked about aggressiveness, maybe could be an element to keep you guys rolling on offense. Is maybe aggressiveness the element that you see that you guys need to keep going, or what is it?
No, I think it's more about execution. I mean, it's not an aggressiveness issue. You look at the play calls, they're, as the second half, we threw it more than we ran it. Like we were, I think, 10 pass, 9 run. It's just, in the end, you got to stay on the field on third down. You got to be tighter with your execution. And the reality of it is, like, we're young. I mean, when Ron went down in that game, we were looking out there Bowles is a senior player on that field. Every single guy is a first or second year player. I mean, we got rookies everywhere, including the quarterback. It's just what we are. The cool thing about it is we got a great foundation. They're going to get better and better. The longer we do this together, they'll gain confidence. And they've had to adapt to different quarterbacks, all kinds of things. And, the free agents we signed and things, they've been hurt. And that's new guys have emerged. That's exciting. But we're young, and we have to get better, and we got to be better at our execution.
Which, when you look at their secondary, it's a lot of first-round picks, but a lot of guys haven't played together, a whole bunch there. When you prepare for a group and prepare a young quarterback for a group of guys that you probably don't have a lot of film with Conley and Rowe, all those guys playing together, how do you go about, I guess, the week?
That's another good question. I mean, this is a matchup week too. Like this is the Patriot style of defense. Romeo's been doing it a long time and at a very high level. Their scheme is very efficient, and it's gonna be a lot of one-on-one man type situations. And Roby's back, so he hasn't played as much. So you're always trying to dig back on old film. Conley, someone we're familiar with, but in the end, it's a little like last week. Derwin wasn't on the film. And I knew they would be different. They blitzed him a lot, which they'd done the year before. They hadn't done any of that this year. You are adapting the best you can because, they're always evolving with personnel changes. So it's really, and Zach Azani does a really good job of showing those guys, especially Cortland, the slots, preparing them for what they're going to see.
Hey, Rich, in your experience, when you have a young quarterback, do defensive coordinators rely more on disguise or just extra pressure?
I think everyone, that's another good question. I think everyone's a little different, and the reality of it is it's what you put on tape, and that's kind of what Drew and I have talked about. It's how they view you will be is what's on that tape. Do you handle pressure and do you execute and stand in there? I thought he did that. The touchdown throw to Cortland was, we talked in between the play. I told him, hey, they're blitzing him more. Be ready for it. Get the one-on-one. Let's throw the go to Cortland. He did it. That's him standing in there, executing, making it happen. The more you do that, people get nervous to pressure you. And I think he's got a good feel for that. But they're going to disguise things. If you can see things post-snap and you handle that, you're going to get less of that. There's a give and take with D coordinators when they disguise too, and it can work to our advantage. And I think it'll be fun to see how Drew handles that moving forward.
Coach Drew yesterday talked yesterday about this being just a second start, deferring more to you and the coaching staff on just the game plan and how it all goes down for him. As his progression continues, how quickly do you want to see him be vocal about maybe things he's particularly seeing on the field, and maybe he has more say on the game plan? Yeah,
I mean, in the end, it's not. I always look at it this way. In the NFL, like if you're coaching Drew Brees, you're not really coaching Drew Brees or Joe Flacco. You're collaborating with him as a coach. That's the goal. But you have to arrive at that point. And there becomes a point in every player and coach's relationship where it becomes less coaching and more collaboration. And that's the goal. We're still, that's a work in progress. And that will happen at some point. But right now, you want to make him comfort and take the pressure off of him. And again, there's constant communication. Drew, do you like this play? Do you feel comfortable with this play? And the last play of the game is a good example of that. I knew what they were going to play. He knew what they were going to play. We walked through that play, that exact look for a desperation play on Saturday morning in that dome. And he went out there and he executed it perfectly because he felt comfortable and calm. That's the goal. The more reps he banks and all that, the more he can feel comfortable with things. He can say things easier and we'll work together.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Rich.